Hello everybody, good morning, welcome to Bitcoin Daily, 9 a.m. Central European Time on the dollar. We do the show every day, Monday to Friday, because we gotta know what's happening in Bitcoin, altcoins, black swan events and everything else in the space. XRP as well. I see next people talking about XRP. XRP is actually doing okay, if not very good. So there is that. How's everybody doing in the chat? The center plan, what's up man, how you doing? Mladen is in the chat. JA, good morning, long time no see. JA, great short entry here. You're still waiting for the 10k. Maybe 10k. Crypto Russ, good morning, how you doing? Edward 2, good morning all. Bean Chicken, welcome to Fans Camp, 3 months. Resubscribe, subscription to that. Nice. How's everybody doing, guys? So I'm thinking this is gonna be quite short video. We're just gonna talk about what's happening right now. Small time frames. Is this gonna bounce towards the upside, bounce towards the downside? The FTX saga that's keeps on giving. So far, what's gonna happen there. I think FTX was a black swan event, so there is that. And we're gonna talk a little bit about what happens during the black swan events, and how they, my credit card is parallel. It's good, man. You're back on the track. Thanks for the support, man. I do appreciate it. And we're gonna talk a little bit about black swan events after that, and how these things usually play out, or what we can expect and stuff like that, right? So right now Bitcoin is down minus 0.9%. It is still in the triangle. Now this isn't the triangle. Triangle goes up here. But you can see it is still in the triangle up here on the move towards the downside. Now we did expect when it came up here at the 16.6, 16.7 to actually pull back down towards the downside. Right now it is pulling down back towards the downside right now over here towards the support. And right now it's very important that we actually keep the support and actually bounce out of this triangle towards the upside, because if we fail to do that, it kind of starts getting a little bit too ugly. It gets really scary if we go below the support over here. It gets really scary if you go below the support, but even then we got support at 15.7 down here, so we can technically go all the way down here and then bounce again towards the upside. Best case scenario is not going all the way down, but just something like this up here, and then bouncing, creating some kind of higher low up here on the chart, and then bouncing towards the upside. Now that would be a little bit better scenario than going all the way towards the bottom. Now the worst case scenario is of course breaking the bottom support down here on the downside, getting lower low and stuff like that. That's the worst case scenario, unfortunately. So how this will actually play out, are we gonna break towards the upside? If you do that, that's gonna be super nice. If you break on downside, the hopium is it won't go all the way down to the support and then bounce. You're just gonna create higher low and then bounce, but we still need to get above the resistance level up here, right, towards the upside eventually. And worst case scenario is of course going below the support over here, and just breaking all the way through towards downside. So there is that. What you're gonna see here on the chart, again, the triangle. We got a triangle. Let's put the triangle up here for a second, so you can see the triangle. We are still in triangle. Everything looks nice, and then the move towards downside 0.9% is not that bad. We got a 20 and 50 moving average right below us. If you look at on daily time frame, we are pulling back, but we are still in the triangle. Nothing's happening. There is also support on the daily time frame right now over here at 16.33. So that is important to notice. On the 2-day time frame up here, there is nothing special happening, and on the weekly there is nothing special. So the daily time frame down here to support at 16.33 or something like that. That's also a very important level of support. So hopefully that holds. And 16.33 is also very nice, corresponding to these levels over here, to these levels, right? So if you look at on 4-hourly time frame, let's go to 4-hourly time frame. You'll see right now over here, if you start breaking everything, the trend lines over here in the triangle, the trend line triangle, and breaking 16.33 down here, it kind of starts looking very bad. It kind of starts looking very bad. 5.99 support for TLA. Thanks for the bucks, man. You bought me dinner. Thanks, man. Diamond hands. So you can see here right now, we are very close to that support levels, and I wouldn't like to break all the way, close to the daily time frame below 16.33 or something like that. I wouldn't even want to close, the 4-hourly down here below, but you know, it can definitely happen and then, you know, just bounce right back up again. So, you know, small time frames, you know, they can definitely fake out towards downside, upside, and so forth. But short term right now, we are getting pretty close to the support levels up here. We still haven't broken the support levels, so, you know, shorting right now over here before we actually break is a kind of, you know, risky game. So there's that. But, you know, if it does, you know, eventually break to towards the downside, this might actually continue on the downside. So I'm still a little bit hopeless, you know, I still got a little bit optimism that this is gonna bounce towards the upside over here. We have been going in this, you know, pennant up here for a while, and ever since, you know, the black swan event, it did happen. And if you look at it on the daily time frame, we have right now, you know, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, sorry, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 2 weeks. We've been going sideways for 2 weeks up here in this pennant. Something's gonna happen soon. We you know, went out of the triangle, then bounced back up again. This you know, spring towards the upside, you know, trying to break the resistance. Right now it's still trying to break the resistance because it did not get out of the triangle again. So there is that. So there is still hopium that is going to break towards the upside, but if it does start breaking the downside, breaks, you know, lows down here, that actually looks bad. That means that, you know, the price, you know, the bulls are not strong enough. The bulls are not strong enough, but we have to wait and see. So today, unfortunately, not much is going to happen. And today is Friday, so we got, you know, Sunday, Saturday coming right after that. Will something happen during the weekend? I'm a little bit unsure. I think, you know, we might actually start looking at something like over here. This is the CME futures chart, and I haven't looked at this too much over here, but I'm guessing there is definitely some kind of triangle, something like that going on over here as well. Let me just see that very quickly up here. This actually, you know, broke a long time ago. If you look at these levels on the downside over here, I actually didn't look at this chart. Let me just see this up here, like failed. So this line might be, you know, some kind of, you know, interesting line, but we are still below these levels on the downside down here. So right now, even CME futures are right now on the support level, so even they need to bounce towards the upside. Still a little bit unsure what's gonna happen next. The move towards downside was kind of expected because it was just using a little bit too long time up here at the top, trying to get up here. We got a doji at the top up here, unfortunately, which is very bearish. So right now it's pulling us down. So, you know, we need somehow, you know, to reverse that. But we've been bearish for a long time. There is a lot of bearish people in the space. A lot of shorters short in the market. It's not a look at me, just support for the man that's entertaining us every day. I appreciate that. So I would say that this has, you know, a relatively decent chance to break on the downside. Optimism and hopium is towards the upside right now. I think it's because we already got rejected, but, you know, and right now we don't have any kind of, you know, bounce up here yet. We are still holding above, a little bit above, you know, support up here. This support up here on the 4-hourly time frame above 16.42 or something like that. So we definitely need some kind of bounce right now, because if we don't get any kind of bounce over here above the resistance up here, I mean, we can go sideways, but we need eventually bounce, because if this you know, price action breaks towards downside, you know, the bearish momentum continues. Now we've seen also DXY right now is sitting at the support on downside. It just hugging this, you know, 105 level on the downside over here. It got a big divergence on the chart, like we said last time. So, you know, getting to 200 moving average. So I'm expecting this to bounce again towards the upside up here. Do something like this up here, and then maybe bounce towards the upside. Maybe then I eventually fail. But right now, I think it's doing this, you know, falling wedge kind of thing, falling channel, something like that over here. So it does not look good for us right now. Not only is right now, you know, DXY coming to this, you know, consolidation on the downside, the way I see it, you know, all of these bigger, you know, indexes like S&P 500 is right now to resistance. You know, the Dow Jones is coming, you know, to some kind of tops up here as well. The resistance. Nasdaq, that's been been hit very badly because it's a tech stock up here. It's not even close to the resistance. I mean, it has some, you know, while, you know, it did not bounce nicely. It can go a little bit more higher towards the upside, but and it is breaking, you know, a lot of, you know, important levels towards the upside. So this is the only thing that's a little bit more bullish, you know, in the short term up here. So whether this is gonna, you know, bounce or not, it depends. But S&P and Dow Jones are definitely hitting some, you know, levels up here that are very important, you know, to break eventually. On the weekly time frame, we got a higher high up here towards upside. Let's see if there is any kind of divergence up here. There is no divergence on the weekly time frame, which is very good for Dow Jones. And S&P 500, it's got no divergence as well. Down here, everything looks fine as well. So a little bit unsure whether this is gonna break, because I need to see some kind of you know, movement, some kind of breakouts or you know, breakdowns on something to figure out whether we are, because once you start going into any kind of consolidation phase, you know, any kind of consolidation phase can, you know, break both sides, and whichever side it breaks to, it might indicate, you know, bullishness or bearishness. So, you know, I'm neither bullish nor bearish. I'm optimistic, and I'm going to tell you why I'm optimistic right now. So as you know, any kind of black swan event, when that happens, and you know, one of the most famous black swan events right now should be, you know, the Corona dump down here. When black swan events happens, there is a couple of things that happens. Number one, people overreact because they don't know what's happening, right? So when something happens, people either, you know, start, you know, insanely. It could be a good news, could also be a black swan event, right? Something happens and people start buying insanely fast, you know, just buy, and price goes up, you know, 10x immediately, right? On the other hand, it could be something very bad like FTX, and, you know, price drops very fast towards the downside. During Corona dump, you know, something bad happened, and, you know, there was, you know, daily candles up here. There were 10% or more, I think. I don't know if that was on case on. You know, this is daily candle. This is a 40% daily candle towards the downside. I mean, if this isn't overreaction, you know, but 10% daily candles on the downside, these have been, you know, quite heavy, you know, moves. And then you got this 40%, you know, stupidly big overreaction in a short amount of time. So these black swan events can have either bullish or bearish. So that's the first thing that happens, overreaction. Now, once overreaction happens, what happens after that, it takes a little bit time, you know, it depends on how much time it takes, but the market needs to price in what's gonna happen next. They have to, you know, assess, you know, the black swan event. They have to see, you know, repercussions of that black swan event, the rippling effects, and so forth, so forth. So what's happened here, at least from, you know, my view when it comes to black swan events, so what happened here is we got a black swan event when it came to the FTX. The price moved very fast towards downside, and right now over here people are trying to figure out, okay, FTX, who's next? Alameda, okay, who's next? You know, crypto.com, Qcoin, Binance, you know, Coinbase don't have, you know, that, you know, the market is start looking into numbers. They're looking who is next. They're trying to figure out if this is gonna crash everything. They're trying to understand the market. And once this, you know, consolidation phase at the end of the black swan event happens, you know, the market figure out whether this is a good or a bad thing, or, you know, if it's overreaction or, you know, normal reaction for what's gonna happen, right? So if this is a black swan event, right now market is pricing in whether this is an overreaction or not. And the optimism come here that this was an overreaction, because I haven't seen, beside FTX and Alameda Research, right? And I haven't seen crypto.com, you know, failing. I haven't seen, you know, Coinbase failing. I haven't seen Binance fail. I even haven't seen, you know, Qcoin failing. I haven't seen Bybit failing. I haven't seen Tether failing. Nobody's talking about these things, but, you know, and if they were supposed to fail, I think they would have failed already, because market has been waiting for a little while. So the optimism right now is that this black swan event right now has been played out. The market is right now pricing in whatever the right decision is, you know, for the next move towards the upside or downside. So the way I see it, although if we can go towards the downside, unless we, you know, continue bleeding towards the downside, big time towards the downside over here, this needs to, you know, pump towards the downside. Because if this, you know, if FTX wasn't overreaction, you know, and we are supposed to get more of this, you know, terrible times to come, then this should continue bleeding on the downside. This should continue bleeding on the downside. But if FTX is not as bad as it, you know, sounds, everything else, you know, all the other exchanges are okay, everything got the liquidity and, you know, stuff in order, you know, market has pricing in that this is, you know, good price to buy, we will see movement towards the upside. We will see movement towards the upside, and I think that's you know, that's what keeping me optimistic right now, that this Black Swan event has, you know, played out, has consolidated, market has priced in what's going to happen next, or what they think, you know, the decent price for you know, coins are. And if we see any kind of movement up here towards upside, I'm gonna be hugely optimistic. And on the other side, if we go towards downside, unless we go below 15.7 or something like that on the downside, or over here, I'm gonna remain optimistic as well. But if we start going on downside, maybe the market is figuring out that something is wrong actually with crypto and, you know, Bitcoin and everything else, and, you know, there's that. So I'm not neither optimistic, I'm not neither bullish nor bearish. We are still in triangle. I'm a little bit optimistic, not bullish. I'm a little bit optimistic that this can actually play out nicely, but although the patterns are actually showing that this is gonna break on the downside. There is a, you know, this is a big you know, pennant. This is a big pennant up here that, you know, had a spring towards downside and, you know, failed to break the resistance. Right now pulling back. So unless this actually breaks towards upside, I think we gotta assume that this is gonna break more towards the downside. That's just my take on how this is gonna play out, at least in the short term. But I am optimistic that, you know, somehow, maybe, just maybe, you know, this can actually bounce. Politics are wrong with crypto. It could be that. I'm using DYDX nowadays. I don't trust any exchange that hasn't been around for a long time, or it's not, you know, used by a lot of people. Because if it's not used by a lot of people, it's not, you know, very stable, you know, it's kind of shit. Don't have all your, you know, money on DYDX. DYDX is DEX, right? Yeah, it's decentralized, so, you know, it might be okay. Sex run soon. There is no sex run. It's already, you know, sex run already started. Like, Binance not gonna go down, Coinbase not gonna go down. You know, it's nice, the DYDX, but difference is, look at the volume at 4 hours when Corona dump happened. That was huge volume from the bulls, and now we don't have that. No, but it's still Black Swan event. Now the volume is you know, pretty decent down here as well. I mean, it's not, you know, Corona dump volume. I mean, different Black Swan events have different volume, right? Not all Black Swan events have the same kind of volume or anything like that, but, you know, there was volume on the dump. Over here there was a lot of, you know, volume on the movement. I think this was the when we had the Fed meeting or whatever, right? You know, these kind of things. There is a big green candle up here holding the price up, but right now the volume is non-existent. We can check also the Bollinger's bands. Down here we came just before we had this big dump down here, we came to some kind of bottom down here, you know, squeeze. Let me see the daily time frame. The daily time frame is still right now. The daily time frame came to some kind of squeeze up here. We had some kind of move towards upside, and right now we are having this, you know, sideways motion. So right now we're coming to this 20 moving average. Are we gonna, you know, start expanding towards upside up here again, or are we gonna go into the another consolidation pattern here where this goes towards downside, then, you know, bounce towards upside? Kind of depends. Let's see you know, 2-day time frame up here. 2-day time frame expanding. Weekly came to some kind of bottom down here. Right now it's still pushing us towards downside, and monthly right now it is low, but it's not, you know, 0-0, so there is that. Check 4-hour MACD. I think big dump, man. 4-hourly MACD. I mean, we did cross the zero line towards upside. I mean, we still don't have any kind of cross. Could we have a big dump over here? It could happen, but, you know, there are all kind of, you know, divergences as well on the chart. But on the daily time frame, we do got, you know, this bullish cross. But I'm always saying this bullish cross, and it don't have to be always that bullish, you know. Although it is bullish daily cross on the MACD, we got, you know, 2 green lines up here towards upside. It doesn't have to, you know, continue towards upside. It can just, you know, dump down over here. The most bullish crosses, they are these that go above the 0 line up here. So once you you know, cross the 0 line towards upside, I mean, they tend to be bullish, right? Over here we came to the 0 line, they tend to be bullish, at least for a little while, right? So breaking the 0 line is very good. Breaking the 0 line up here is very good, but we are not even close. We just got a bullish cross down here on the daily time frame, but we are not. There is spot buying, all futures trading. Just tell me who's buying. Croix for sure. So, you know, if we're gonna see some more, you know, exchanges dumping down, more black swan events, or, you know, the ripple effect from the FTX happening, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I haven't seen anything much. I've seen some kind of FUD from certain exchanges, but nothing, you know, grounded in reality. Because as soon as FUD comes out, it should happen pretty fast. But if the FUD comes out and nothing happens, then we can assume it's FUD, maybe. Anyways, guys, that was a quick and dirty, you know, Bitcoin daily. Hope you know, have a nice day. I burned my hand when I was putting the, you know, the wood in the oven today, so it hurts like a bitch. So there is that. Too hot. Okay, guys, take care. I hope you know, I hope you do play, you know, this play out in our favor. But right now, I think it's a little bit too soon. We are on the support, so, you know, hope you miss towards upside. Optimism is towards upside. I'm a little bit optimistic, but I know I should not be. I know that this is more likely the break towards downside than upside, but I'm optimistic towards upside. Delayed proof of FUD. It just might be that. Anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by. Tomorrow morning, still 9 AM Central European Time on the dollar. We are back on the winter times, guys. And right now, you know what we can start with right now? We can start with snow, guys. We can start with snow. It's, you know, it's 1 week till December, but we can start with snow. You know, make it a little bit snowy and cozy in here during the, you know, winter months. So there is that. Okay, guys, see you around. Bye-bye. I'm talking too much.